Hello everyone, my name is Shaheen Peruz and I'm here to talk a little bit about the evolution of the cloud. I get asked all the time, what is the cloud and where did it come from? And what is this cool new thing and how do I get on it? And what I want to do today is really talk through where it came from, the evolution of it, because CenterBeam has been in the cloud for 11 years now. As you've probably done the math, there didn't used to be a cloud 11 years ago. What I'd like to talk to you about is where we came from. The company was built from the ground up as, whether you want to call it a cloud computing company, a SaaS solution, an ASP, or a managed service. All of those things fit into the scope of what CenterBeam does. So we're truly, and have been truly, pioneers in this space, and I want to share with you what cloud computing is all about and where it came from. So there'll be a series on cloud computing that we're going to talk about, the CenterBeam Cloud series. Today we're going to focus strictly on the evolution of the cloud. So, if you remember back to the early 90s, mid-90s, there was the concept of application service providers that came out. Application service providers were effectively companies that would take your equipment and move them from inside your data center into theirs. So now your resources would go from accessing compute resources in your network to being just human resources accessing resources in your provider's network. It was still your equipment, it was still your application, it was still your licensing, it was managed by the application service provider. And eventually the application service provider space went to a model where it was their equipment and your licensing and applications, and it kept evolving from there. So what's next? After the ASP model, we went into a world of SaaS. SaaS stands for software as a service. And what that was instead of buying the software, instead of customizing the software and installing it, you would go to an application service provider who had software they would install. Many times they wrote it themselves. They would customize that software, whether it was a common application that everybody used, like a CRM package. Salesforce.com is a perfect example. They built their own, but it was a common used solution in the market. They built that, and they built it in a multi-tenant fashion. Multi-tenancy is effectively, you take one platform and you partition it so that many tenants can leverage that infrastructure, but it's shared infrastructure. So SaaS was the evolution of ASP into a multi-tenant world. Now you can get many resources to share a single piece of infrastructure. So the evolution of SaaS continued to grow from SaaS 1.0, which we described a moment ago, to what is today branded as SaaS 3.0. The differences were really not just multi-tenancy, but the ability to integrate that multi-tenancy back into your infrastructure. So you had a cloud provider or a SaaS 3.0 provider that had built their multi-tenant application. You had inside your facility a small application, and you needed those to be able to talk to each other. So that integration between the SaaS provider and your infrastructure was what became SaaS 3.0. So not only is it off-site, off-premise, and multi-tenant, so you're taking advantage of shared resources, therefore also getting advantages of cost from fractional ownership into a model, but you also have the ability to customize it and integrate it back into your infrastructure for a seamless experience for your users. So now we fast forward to today. Everybody's talking about the cloud. What is the cloud? We just talked about it. It's all those things. The cloud has existed from the beginning, and today we have a better understanding of how we can virtualize infrastructures, make them multi-tenant as we've described in SaaS 1.0 and SaaS 3.0, and make them accessible so that you can integrate into them. With that, we're going to end today's discussion on the cloud and what the evolution of the cloud was. Please join us again to see future discussions on our cloud series. Thank you.